All right, so today we are playing a game and I am excited for this one. I was inspired to do this after listening to an episode of the Drum podcast where they were talking about how most songs don't have nearly as many fills as we think they do, that our drummer brains like to remember songs as having more fills, but that when you actually go through and listen, there are very few fills in most songs. So that was kind of interesting to me, and I was thinking, I wonder, on average, how many fills do most songs have? Now, of course, this is going to vary wildly from band to band and from drummer to drummer, and especially from genre to genre. But I wanted to take just a little bit of a cross-section of a few different genres and a few different bands that have live drums. Of course, we're not going to do any hip-hop or EDM. And I wanted to count the number of fills in each song, and I tried to pick songs that most people will probably recognize. And just from your memory, can you guess how many fills, exactly how many fills, are in each song? So quick disclaimer that there is an element of subjectivity in what actually constitutes a fill. Now, I'm not counting a hi-hat opening on the and of 4 as a fill. To me, that's more of an embellishment. But if someone goes, that does count as a fill in my mind. So a fill could be 1 beat long or 2 beats long. And I am also counting intro fills, or if the drummer counts the song in and then plays a fill to intro the song, I am also counting that in the tally. So let's get into it. Like I said, I tried to pick a selection of songs that most people would recognize at least a couple of. And the first one that we're gonna start with is Beat It by Michael Jackson. Hopefully most of you have heard this one at least once before. So the question, of course, is how many fills are there in Beat It? So I'll just sit here awkwardly, filling up some time while you're thinking, give you a few seconds to think about it. Hopefully I'm not distracting you, and I will give you the answer just a few seconds. The answer is 1. There is 1 fill in Beat It, and it is, I believe, when the drums first come in. It's just that intro fill, and then that's it. There are no other fills in that song. So that is so far supporting the theory that most songs do not have as many fills as we think. So next up, let me check my list here. Next up on the docket, the next one is This Love by Maroon 5. And this is back when, if you remember, when they had live drums and they actually had a band. I think maybe there were 5 of them. But this was a gigantic hit, so this is one that I assume most people have heard at some point. And then the question is, of course, on this older Maroon 5 gigantic smash pop single, how many fills are in this song? So again, take a second to think about it. I'm going to review my list here. Yeah, okay. So the answer is 6. There are 6 fills in This Love by Maroon 5. There are definitely some embellishments, some little things in there, like open hi-hats and that sort of thing, that I'm not counting as fills. So there is a little extra drum spice, but as far as actual fills, there are 6 of them. So was that more? Was that fewer than you were expecting? Let's move on. The next one, for those of you that are sick of hearing about pop songs, Smells Like Teen Spirit. Of course, we know that there's at least 1 fill. The song starts with it, so I'm gonna give you that one. How many fills do you think Dave plays in this song total? So again, I'm gonna give you a second to think about it while I'm counting them up on my list here. Okay, got your answer? Smells Like Teen Spirit has 10 fills. Again, did you expect more? Did you expect fewer? So Teen Spirit, 10 fills so far, the most out of everything we've gone through. Next one, sort of in the middle ground between pop and rock. We've got one of Blink-182's biggest hits, All the Small Things. Now, Travis Barker, of course, is somewhat of a controversial figure in the drumming world, and he is popularly known as someone who plays a lot of fills and perhaps too many fills. So how many fills do you think are in one of Blink-182's biggest hits, All the Small Things? Again, take a second. Think about it. Go back and review the song if you haven't heard it before, or if you can't remember which one that is. Small things. Go back and listen to it, and let me count them. All right, you got your answer? There are 14 fills in All the Small Things, which I was actually not expecting. I know Travis tends to play a lot of fills, but I chose this song because I thought it was one that would have fewer, but there are 14, more than Smells Like Teen Spirit, more than This Love, more than everything so far. Okay, so the next one, we're back in the pop realm. We are looking at something a little more modern, Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. This one does have real drums. I'm not sure if it's a loop or not, but I chose this because they are distinctly real sounding drums, regardless of whether they're looped or not. Of course, once again, the question is, how many fills are on a giant hit like Shake It Off? So think about it for a sec. How much does Taylor Swift appreciate drums? Would she or her Nashville producers, who write the songs, I assume, want fills? Shadowing her vocals, not trying to lead you in any one direction here. Okay, the answer is 0. There are no fills in Shake It Off, at least from the drums. There are some pretty significant claps in there, but I am not counting that. So if you guessed 0, then you are correct. All right, the next one. Here's a completely uncontroversial band and completely uncontroversial song, Let It Be by the Beatles. Ringo, popularly known as a drummer that holds back, plays for the music, and plays only what's necessary. So how many fills are in Let It Be? Think about it for a sec. Let me count. Okay? Got your answer? Think about it. Think about when the drums come in Let It Be. How often does Ringo tend to play fills? The answer is 10. Ringo plays 10 fills in Let It Be, which is the same as Teen Spirit. So there's a Ringo, Dave Grohl, Nirvana, Beatles connection that you didn't know existed. 2 giant hits from both bands, same number of fills. And it's interesting too because the drums don't come in until like a minute and a half into the song, and Teen Spirit starts with a fill. So you might say proportionately, Ringo plays more fills than Dave Grohl. And in fact, proportionately, there might even be more fills per minute in Let It Be than in All the Small Things. I'll have to number crunch that. Someone check that for me in the comments. But on a per minute basis, is Ringo playing more fills than Travis Barker? That'd be one for the books. So for the last one here, I wanted to choose something that was much more modern, and this is sort of a pop rock smash hit by Olivia Rodrigo, a much newer artist. This is Good For You, which is definitely more of an upbeat, kind of a slightly heavier pop song, I guess, if you could call it that. And I wanted to know, in a very modern, like Disney-produced song that is just designed to be a giant hit single, how many drum fills do we have in the modern era of pop music, or pop rock music, however you want to call it. So if you haven't heard this song before, maybe give it a listen, or if you have heard it, maybe just give yourself a second to kind of refresh yourself on what the drums sound like and how many fills you might think it has. Think about it for a sec, get your answer. I'm gonna count. There are 8. In Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo, there are 8 fills, which I was actually pleasantly surprised by. The drum fill is alive and well, I suppose, in the modern era in pop music, in some songs at least. But I actually found more fills in these songs than I expected to, and I'm really curious to know how your expectations were either met or not met, and were you undershooting or were you overshooting? Did you expect there to be more fills in songs? I actually expected for there to be far less. I've definitely written my own songs and tracked on other people's songs where I've gotten to the end of the session and realized, oh, I didn't even need to bring my toms. I literally didn't play a single fill in that song. Or maybe I just bring a floor tom because I play 1 fill or 2 fills in the entire song. So that's not uncommon in my sort of indie rock world, but I'm actually pleasantly surprised to see how many fills there were relatively in some of these songs here. So let me know what your results were. How many did you get right? Were you spot on any of them? That would be pretty amazing. And if you enjoyed this kind of game or this kind of format, let me know as well, and I'd love to do more like this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.